Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to be joined by journalist and author Sam Quinones, the author of Dreamland, the true tale of America's opiate epidemic. Sam, thanks for being here today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks very much, Craig.
So you're here today to talk to the general public at today's event for Oregon Pain Guidance Community Forum over at the Ramada Inn in Medford, and that's going on right now as we air this. So what's the focus of your
Really
speech?
what I'm trying to do is tell people about how we got to the point where we are today with widespread heroin addiction, massive new supplies of heroin. The story really begins, though, in the late 80s, early 90s, revving up really into the mid-1990s, where there was a revolution in pain management in the United States, and doctors began to believe, and there's new conventional wisdom in pain management and medicine, that they could prescribe these opiate painkillers, Vicodin, Percocet, OxyContin later came into the picture, without any risk of addiction. It was a belief that still holds sway today. And so there was a massive new supply of these pills issued from doctors' offices and prescribers all across the country, these drugs are all opiate painkillers. They are molecularly, chemically very similar to heroin. So once you've built up your tolerance, a lot of people did get addicted. They were not right. These things are very addictive. And even when used according to doctor's orders, they can be extraordinarily addictive. So, but they're similar to heroin in a lot of ways. And so when you build up your tolerance to these drugs, going to heroin is a kind of I've heard it called a no-brainer. You know, it's economically, financially, exactly what you are kind of taught to do, and makes economic sense to do. So really it's a story of how a change in medicine in America led in turn to a huge new increase in the demand for an illegal drug. But in this case, this problem starts with legally prescribed drugs.
And so much of the work you've done is in Mexico with
Right.
the illegal, have heroin being brought here, and what we've seen here locally is a huge rise in heroin, and so
Right.
much property crime linking to that. It's a relatively cheap drug, as you talked about, to get.
Indeed.
So where do we go from here? How do we get a handle on this?
Well,
as your experience?
everything starts with the doctors. Doctors have to understand that this massive new supply of opiates in America started with their overprescribing of these pills, and they have to find ways of not prescribing. For example, you go in for a routine surgery, and for many, many years now, it's been routine to get to an appendix operation, which is what I had at one point.
Okay.
I got 60 Vicodin pills. These are this contain hydrocodone. That's a molecularly very similar to heroin. It's an opiate. Normally, most people, I only needed 2 or 3 or 4 pills, not 60. But doctors prescribe them because they kind of don't want to see the patient anymore. You just take these home, and the message in that bottle is, they're not addictive, don't worry about it. And for a lot of people, they aren't, but some people they are. But what also happens is that supply then leaks out into the black market through a variety of ways. Someone gets into the medicine cabinet, someone steals the pills. A lot of things. This is what's gone on across the country. The more people have recognized the value of these pills, and so doctors really need to understand that you do not need to prescribe 60 Vicodin after a surgery that's going to give you pain for 2 or 3 days. I mean, I think 6 or 8 or 10 might be very easily enough. People might not even use all of those. And so it's getting a new mindset. This is part of why I'm here. There's a pain conference on Friday. I'm going to be talking there.
You're going to be talking directly to those medical professionals.
To medical providers, medical professionals, and trying to get the idea out that these pills are not necessary to prescribe in such massive doses and massive prescriptions. And sometimes it would be a prescription for 60 and then 2 more refills. So you're talking about 3 months of these things, and that's where these drugs become very, very addictive. 2 or 3 days for an acute pain of dealing with a surgery or something like that might not be a problem. 2 or 3 months most definitely will.
Yeah, okay. And you're talking at 6 o'clock is the scheduled time?
Today,
just about an hour's time there at the Ramada Inn in Medford at this Oregon Pain Guidance Community Forum. Anyone can come down there at the Ramada Inn again.
Hope to see them
Thank
all.
you so much for being here. And the book is available right now on Amazon.
On Amazon and other places, absolutely.
Very good. Great to meet you. Thanks so much.
Very nice to meet you. Thanks a lot.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.